Welcome everybody to another episode of the Will and Rock podcast. I'm Will.
I'm Rock.
And today we're going to be discussing UFC 216. It's happening in 2 weeks, October 7th.
Big stack card, man.
Really good card, man.
About fucking
it's
time.
a really good card. We're gonna have it's gonna be a quick podcast because what we're gonna do is we're just gonna discuss a little bit about each fighter, but we're also gonna give our predictions. So for the next podcast, we're gonna be taking shots.
Yeah.
Which we did on the last podcast.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
That was disgusting.
But it was legit.
It was fun. It was fun. So the first one is Beneil Delarouche versus Evan Dunham.
Alright, so first of all, I got Evan Dunham.
I got Delarouche. So already somebody's taking a shot next week.
It's a good fight for both fighters. I think it's a great setup match for both of them. Just not thrilled about this fight necessarily.
Well, no, neither am I. As we progress with the card, you're gonna see how stacked it is. So this fight, don't let this discourage you. Although I think personally, it's a great matchup. I think it's a great way to start the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm not gonna knock it off. You know, you said you have Dunham. I have Delarouche. I think Delarouche is actually gonna stop Evan Dunham. I would say in the first or second round, whether submission or knockout. That's he could do it all.
Yeah.
Do you have a prediction with Dunham? Obviously, you have him winning, but
Dunham is gonna grind him out. This is gonna end up a decision for Evan Dunham.
Okay, decision for Dunham. All right, so let's get straight to the next fight. The next fight was gonna be Paige Van Zandt versus Jessica Ai.
All right, so I'm gonna let you pick this one.
Cool. I'm gonna pick Jessica Ai.
All right, I got Paige Van Zandt now.
You have Paige Van Zandt because you want to, Jessica's.
No, I'll go against you. Why not? Why not? So, see, the thing is, Paige Van Zandt right now is in a winning streak. She
just lost her last fight.
No, she just won her last fight. She won her last 2 fights. No.
No, she lost her last fight.
Versus.
By the girl that's gonna be fighting Jajanchik now. Pat Barry's girlfriend.
Rose.
Rose.
Manahar.
Yeah, Manahar, something like that. I forgot. But yeah, she fought her and she lost against her. She put a whipping on Van Zandt. With that being said, that is just one loss.
That's right.
Back.
I had her remember that huge kick that she ended up winning versus Robbins?
Yeah. But I personally have Jessica. I think Jessica is going to just grind her out. I don't see why Jessica would give her too much distance. I think Jessica should just move forward, hang her up on the ropes a little bit, and the cage, should I say?
No, I know. And also, Paige Van Zandt is very one-dimensional as well. Like if she can stay on her feet and she's able to throw those kicks and just keep that distance, that's really all she's known for.
Well, yeah, she's done some submissions here and there. I don't think she would. She trains with Team Alpha Male, and they have the greatest freaking chokeholds there is.
Their guillotines are serious.
Are very serious. So, but I still have Jessica Ai winning by decision, just grinding her out. I think it's going to be a bloody match. I think Jessica Ai is going to cut her up really nice.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, well, it's definitely a good fight. I do believe that Paige Van Zandt is on the road, on the come-up. Everyone's doubting her. She has a lot riding against her.
What you see her
looks?
Is what, it's decision as well, or?
Jesus. Jessica, I don't see Paige Van Zandt knocking her out. Even though she could. She's very unpredictable the way she throws her kicks. So, I will say this. I see this ending as a decision win for Van Zandt, but if not, then it's gonna have to be Van Zandt TKO.
All right, decision TKO. The next one is a heavyweight bout. Now this is a fucking slugger bomber, bro. Fabricio Verdum versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis was supposed to take a break. He's and I think he should have for sure taken a small break. All the situation that's been happening in Houston, he's been out there helping them. How much training is he doing in the process? I just don't know. He said he was going to take a longer break this time around, and he pretty much didn't. He's back on the map. Fighting Fabricio Verdum, you need to have a full training camp, man. Personally, Fabricio Verdum has been doing this for so many years. He enjoys the fighting game. He is coming out of a couple of losses, but his experience is probably was gonna win that fight if he wins. I'm gonna have you pick the next one.
Oh fuck, man, this is such a tough fight.
Whoever you pick, I'm gonna pick the opposite. Because the honest truth is, like, to me,
that's the way that fight should go. It's a very unpredictable fight. The way the last two losses that Fabricio Verdum has taken almost makes him look like the older Fabricio Verdum, the slower Fabricio Verdum, not the guy who freaking beat Roy Nelson, Fabricio Verdum, you know, or Alistair Overeem. So, what Alistair Overeem is going to come out for this? I'm sorry, what is Fabricio Verdum is going to come out? That's going to be the deciding match.
Right.
I have Fabricio Verdum winning this fight. I'm going for Fabricio Verdum. I think he sets the tone of this fight. Wherever he wants, he could beat Derek Lewis in. But he needs to either keep his distance from Lewis, because any touch from Lewis can lead to a TKO, or just go back to the basics, man. You're fighting somebody who is extremely strong, extremely powerful behind his right hand, over right hand. Take him down. Go back to the basics. Do what you do best. Submit him on the ground. So that's what I would like to see.
I do agree. That would be the right game plan for Fabricio Verdum. Personally, I do believe that. However, Fabricio Verdum has been standing up a lot in the last fights. He hasn't been taking people down as often. If he decides to bring that type of game plan with Derek Lewis, I see Derek Lewis knocking his lights out. Derek Lewis is a younger fighter. He's a little quicker, and all you need to do is be a little quicker than Fabricio Verdum to take that over right hand punch. Derek Lewis could knock you out with both hands, but we know that he's known for the right overhand. With that being said, he can knock him out with his left or right. I have Derek Lewis beating him in the first round, early in the first round. I don't see this going into the second round.
Either or. I don't see it. I see Fabricio Verdum submitting him in the first round.
Submitting in the first round. All right, cool, interesting. Tremendous fight. Now, this is the fight that we discussed right before we finished the last podcast, was about Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg. This was a fight that was supposed to happen in UFC 214.
215.
Sorry, 215, correct.
That was the main event at 215.
Correct. And Ray Borg had a little injury. He wanted to set back the time. He completely called out of the fight. So what do? Instead of headlining this card for 215, they have them as the co-main event. It's kind of depressing and frustrating to see it, because Demetrius Johnson wins this fight and he goes as his longest champion winning streak in UFC history. So he's going to be making history because he's going to beat Ray Borg.
But see, this is what really bothers me, especially with the UFC. UFC is struggling with numbers right now, right? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say struggling with numbers, because they're still
struggling.
They're not what they used to be. You know, all these big time fighters are no longer there. You know, you got like the McGregors, the Brock Lesnar's, Ronda Rousey's, the people who bought a ton of money to the UFC,
right.
A must-watch fight. You got someone like Demetrius Johnson that is no questionable a headliner. All right. He wins, he makes UFC history, the only fighter in UFC history to defend his title 13 times and win 13 times in a row, right? He beats the likes of Anderson Silva, Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre. So when you put these big names out there, and he is the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC, because what happened to John Jones. You put him in the main event, you see him win, which I don't honestly see this fight going anywhere. I see Demetrius Johnson winning this fight. But the main thing of it all is, that's when you put pressure on Demetrius to be like, you need to put some weight on you if you want to fight the big dogs, you know?
And the way things are looking, which is a good thing. If he does win the fight, I don't see him staying in the weight class. He already swept out his weight class, without a doubt. They're just throwing other people at him. He should definitely go up. Think about the mix in that next weight class with Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, and Dominic Cruz. Oof, it's going to be an amazing mix right there, you know. So let's look forward to this win. With that being said, whatever. he is the co-main event. We both got Demetrius Johnson. As much as I would want to pick the opposite of you, there's no way in hell Ray Borg has a chance, and I don't want to take a shot tomorrow. Or next week, should I say. So we both have Demetrius Johnson winning that fight. Now, who's now headlining this card is Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee.
Now, I'm not against these two headlining any card.
Correct.
I don't think they should headline a pay-per-view event.
I agree.
They should totally do like a Fox on Fox Sports, on FX. Like, these are the fights that are designed for fighters like this. Yeah. Fighters that are on the come up, they're extremely hungry. You don't want people to pay to watch these guys fight right away.
Well, I agree, but you also have to understand that Tony Ferguson is coming with he has the longest winning streak right now in his division. He beats Kevin Lee, and we're talking about, we're talking about McGregor. McGregor should be next in that weight class. So you can't say these people are on the come up because Kevin Lee is on the come up. I gotta agree when you say that.
No, but where I'm getting at with what I'm trying to say is, you want people to watch the UFC. You put these two great and amazing fighters, and you put them on a free card on FX1.
I agree with you that they should not be the main event on a UFC event, pay-per-view event. I agree with you on that. They should have been on a
definitely not over Demetrius Johnson's mega fight. Like, this is a big fight for him. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that to him? Why would you? It's a massive disrespect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's when I use the word depression, because they put him as a co-main event, not because it's Demetrius Johnson's fault. It's because it's Ray Borg's fault that they couldn't headline the next fight. So who are you punishing? Why are you punishing Demetrius Johnson with that? That UFC card should end with Demetrius Johnson holding his hand up as the winner, as the new as still the champion, and to break the world UFC record.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, come on, that's how you close out an event.
Fight's over, then you start talking about, all right, let's start talking about Dylan Shaw. Let's start talking about the Cody Love. Let's talk about Cody. Like, if you think about it, that's a mega fight. 2 championship guys going up. Put that as a mega fight. Yeah. I would totally watch that.
Hands down, I definitely agree with you, brother.
Main event that,
But with that being said, who do you have? Tony Ferguson or Kevin? Oh, I get to pick, huh? I get to pick. You picked Fabricio Verdum.
I picked Fabricio Verdum. I picked Eric Lewis.
All right, go.
All right, I got Ferguson.
Listen, as much as I want to be against you, I got Ferguson. I think he is going to come out guns blazing. This is a guy that has stamina for days, I don't see him losing. I really don't. Even with Khabib Nurmagomedov, I don't see him losing to Khabib either. This guy Ferguson is a motherfucking beast. He looks at you dead in the eyes, moves forward and lets bang. You could take him to 20 rounds if there is. That guy is not getting tired.
No,
and he has the skills to knock you out or submit you. I mean, that's the most overall round fighter that there is in the UFC right now. I really do believe Tony Ferguson has the biggest potential of becoming a superstar with this win.
Ferguson is one of the most complete fighters in the UFC, hands down. I don't want to say that Kevin Lee cannot do it, because Kevin Lee is a legit fighter, and I actually like this fight for both fighters. But if we are really talking about Ferguson, it's one of those great come-up stories. He started The Ultimate Fighter. To me, he looked like he was an okay fighter. He was just an okay fighter. And the growth that he's had from where he started The Ultimate Fighter to where he is now, it's one of those feel-good stories,
I agree.
There's so many freaking great fighters who start off in The Ultimate Fighter, and it's like their little training camp, work them way straight up, and now he's bound to be a superstar.
Yeah.
Bound to be a superstar. And he's not one to keep quiet,
Yeah.
He has a great fan base. He just has a great fan base. I'm really looking forward to this fight.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Tony Ferguson. Hopefully he wins in devastating fashion, because Kevin Lee is still young. He's on the come up. He's a tremendous fighter. He has to, he promotes himself. He's the shit talker. He's constantly talking shit. Tony Ferguson does it as well, but Kevin Lee has that spotlight on him right now, bro. So I know he's going somewhere. if he takes a loss here, it's not going to drop him down to 0. So he's going to still be in the mix with the best fighters in the world, and I do believe that his time is coming. It's just not now. It reminds me almost of the Jair Rodriguez versus the New Jersey kid, Frankie Edgar, right? Where Jair Rodriguez is like on the come up. He's killing everybody that he gets his hands on, and then you get an experienced fighter like Frankie Edgar. It shows you that, wait a minute, there's levels to this shit. And right now, you're just not there yet. And I really do believe Tony Ferguson is going to do this with Cameron Lee. I really do.
I'm looking forward to it. No matter how you see it, this is going to be a good fight, man.
Yeah,
but I couldn't agree with you more. All right, guys. So we wrapping this up?
Yeah. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave some comments if you have any questions. We'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions.
Please, guys. Anything positive, anything negative, feel free to write it. We have no problem doing that. In order for us to get better, we need to get some sort of criticism. And for the questions that are posted on our podcast, we actually answer them right away as well.
Right.
So please subscribe. That's the Will and Rock Podcast on YouTube and the Will and Rock Podcast on Instagram as well.
Sure.
See you guys next week.
Peace.